How are you different from every other broker that's out there? I'm Zack Lazo. I'm the designated broker and part owner of Caliber Real Estate, and I'm going to be talking about how to differentiate yourself from the masses of over 25,000 plus agents that are in the NWMLS. So first point, if you're going to differentiate yourself, you got to understand who you are as an individual and what your strengths are. So in order to do that, you got to know who you are. So DISC test is a test that a lot of big name brokerages rather have used. D for dominant, personality, I for influential, that salesperson. S, you're going to be stable. You're going to need that warm and fuzzy information to make you feel nice and safe. And of course, C, that analytical brain that needs a whole lot of information before they make up their mind. But within that simplistic view, you may find yourself even within the I bucket, you may find yourself among people that also have high I's that really are not the same personality type. One of the tests that we use at Caliber Real Estate is Strength Finder 2.0. Rather than just 4 buckets, it's a test that lays out 34 different character types in which it's a wide array of characteristics of strengths. And as you go down that line, obviously that starts with your weaknesses. But the top 5 strengths kind of rise to the top, really tell you a story on who you are. And once you hear that analysis on the full test, it's nearly eerie on how spot on it is. So first, start by getting to know yourself. And once you know yourself, I would ask you, who do you aspire to be? Even if you're an experienced agent, inevitably, there's going to be some people that you aspire to be like within our marketplace. Pick who you aspire to be like. Make sure that they have a personality type, because I can't tell you how many agents I've met, or within my office or even outside of my office that say, I want to be like these individuals. But if your personality type really isn't a great fit, you can aspire all you want, but it's just it's not in alignment with who you are. So pick somebody who is in alignment with who you are. And that's the first step, getting to know who you are, to align with those who are absolutely killing it within that character type. So that's a great path. Secondly, I would ask, when you're talking through differentiating yourself, is explore, what's your message? What message are your potential clients hearing? Now, are you relying on kind of that fluffy message that a ton of other agents rely on? I'm at a listing presentation and I'm going to go through my strengths, because obviously my listing presentation is great, but I'm going to go through, I've been in this business for a long time. Awesome. I have great service. Cool. Are you supposed to have great service? Isn't that kind of a prerequisite? I have great communication. I answer my phone. If you find yourself relying on things that are kind of more fluffy, or imagine yourself among a group of 20 people that are at the same job interview, what strengths are they bringing to the table? And then secondly, think of your prospective client as the interviewer who's thinking, what's in it for me? If I'm an employer and I'm getting ready to hire you, how are you different? What unique value are you actually bringing to the table? And so if you really consider what message is your audience receiving, that can now align with what your value proposition is, especially when you start to reverse engineer it in knowing your own personal strengths. Now, at Caliber Real Estate, we view differentiation as a huge value proposition for us. And so even if once you know your personality, you need to be different within the services that you offer, within the skill sets that you have as an agent. It's value. So at Caliber Real Estate, because we have our roots in the investment side of real estate, there's going to be some uniqueness that we have that a lot of other traditional agents don't have. Now, let's take, for instance, we're going to teach you how to work with investors, right? Those investors are going to purchase real estate. They're going to spot potential. They're going to fix it up. So we as agents who learn how to work with investors learn to identify and analyze what constitutes a good deal. What's going to provide an ROI? What fix up does it take to produce that maximum ROI, right? And now we're going to take that skill set and apply it to the traditional side of our business to enhance the value that we bring to our traditional clients. For instance, we're working with a buyer. Buyer goes to Bellevue. They need the right school district. They need square footage, bedroom, bathroom count. Now, they have all of that. And our traditional buyer, before we learn this stuff, says, gosh, the paint colors, the smell of dog, and that pesky dividing wall between the kitchen and the dining room and that split little house, it just doesn't work for me. Now, if I didn't know that I worked with investors before, and that's really not that big of a deal, then I wouldn't be able to help that client. And then we have to go on and show another 20, 30 homes before we land on the one that we want, right? Now, in this situation, if we have that value set, we can say it's not a big deal. We now stop there, write an offer, I plug them in, and now I've given them unique value to them as that traditional buyer's agent. Now think of it in a seller perspective. I've now helped these investors. I picked the right gray color. I picked the right quartz countertops. I know a great stager now. I know some other vendors, plumbers, electricians that can help me do some things to really, really optimize that place. Now I bring that value over to my listing presentation. Now suddenly I have some value that I can bring to them that no other agents are really be able to bring to them. Now, what's really awesome is you can now differentiate yourself in that way and uniquely. But now let's use that. Let's use all that skills that we've learned, and let's eventually get you to buy your own real estate with all those skills that you're learning. And that's really going to be a differentiating factor, because when you go meet with all your other agents and you're going to say, hey, how many rental properties do you own, in your 30s and your 40s or in your 50s? That might also be even a differentiating factor that you can talk about to your other agent friends, as well as if you're talking with your clients, they're certainly going to respect somebody with a great rental portfolio. So that's something we teach here at Caliber Real Estate. If you're interested in finding out other ways to differentiate yourself, or just interested in getting just some exposure to some different trainings, reach out to us. We'd be happy to invite you to a training and see a different side of real estate. Hope to connect soon.